Drinks Coach. Rufus is pointing, well, not quite pointing, at Drinks Coach UK, all lowercase. If you want to talk to me about this show, you are watching the Drinks Coach UK on YouTube. So press the bell for further notifications, etc. There'll be lots more shows just before Christmas. I'll rack them up as we go in. Also, Vinesack, lowercase Vinesack, to talk to me about anything else. That's my private connection. So Twitter, Insta, or you'll find my name on Facebook easily enough. There aren't many of me. Joe Wadsack, just in case you didn't know. So here we are. With a different take on things again. I'm always looking for something unusual and a bit different. I think after this I'll start doing some you need to buy these for Christmas shows. But let's see how we get on with this to start with. Sparkling wine. Now, it's Christmas, so sparkling wine is a good thing, right? But these are Slovenian wines. These are Slovenian sparklings. This isn't a country that people normally associate with sparkling wine. But as I've discovered, thanks very much, aglassofbubbly.com, a glass of bubbly. A guy called Chris Walkey and his wife, I think it's Eve, have a fantastic website talking about sparkling wine from all around the world. And my wife and I recently went to a wine show up at the Design Centre in Islington, and there he was standing with three very, very talented winemakers espousing the joys of Slovenian sparkling. Now, one of these wines I knew about before. We'll come on to that in a minute. But I didn't know how good the wines at that stand would be. And there were some absolutely brilliant wines from Bruder, from Zlatnina Brut. Really, really classy stuff. And kind of understand why they're not available in the UK, because you've got a label that doesn't read very easily, but also a wine from a completely unknown country that costs probably £20 on the shelf, 20 give or take. You look at supermarkets and the supermarket bars, and they're thinking, well, I can buy vintage Carver for about £8 at the moment, so why would you be buying that? Yeah, well, because of commercial forces, these wines aren't necessarily put in front of you, and they should be. Okay, so let's start off with this one. Zlatnina Panina. I'm very sorry if I've forgotten the name of the winemaker. She was very eloquent and told me all about the wines. But this is a producer that's been making sparkling wine in Slovenia, in Podravia, which is, I think the government description is the most commercial and continental wine region in Slovenia, which is the northeast, right up by the Danube, near Maribor, Ljutomer, that area. The oldest vine in the world, apparently, is in Maribor. But if you just go a few minutes out of there, you're in world-class skiing resorts, the world slalom course, the world slalom championship actually does go to Maribor. But also, if you just cross over the Danube, you're only half an hour away from Graz, one of the most wonderful cities, like the Cambridge of Austria, describe it that way, just to put it into context. But here we are, Zlatnina Brut. This wine is made 100% from Chardonnay. Remember, these guys have been making this wine for over 170 years. Now, just to put that into context, Carver started in the 20s. Champagne started at the end of the 18th century, 70 years before this. But that's kind of it. They were really early to the party, so it's rather a shame that they haven't been better exposed and given the opportunities they should have, because they deserve some credit and respect. This wine is 100% Chardonnay as far as I know, and it's also a Brut Nature, so I'm starting this first. Now, Brut Nature means no sugar in it whatsoever. It's called Zlatnina Panina Brut Nature. Méthode classique, meaning it's made like a champagne. Yeah, sue me. Okay, right, now. Ooh. So let's crack at this. I was just absolutely swept away by the wines on this stand. Chris, thank you very much for introducing these wines to me. That smells so damn good. So good. Beautiful, beautiful, ripe fruit. Like crystallised pineapple, baked apple. Because it's Brut Nature, it doesn't have the same level of autolytic flavour. For those of you that understand what that means, if you add a bit of sugar to the wine and you leave it on its lees in the bottle, other chemistry happens and you end up with these like toasty, biscuity flavours. This is more like a 6-year-old Chablis with bubbles in it. It doesn't actually have a vintage on here, but on the back I think it's got a disgorgement date. It says Letnik whether it's called 2014, whether that's the vintage of the harvest or whether that's when it was released, I don't know. But these wines clearly, because they're continental, they're inland, it's very, very cold there some of the year, hot summers, very cold winters. Clearly these wines evolve very slowly. They have a very, very low pH, which means they have a very high, they're very stable, very high acidity. Is that for everyone? Probably not. It's for me though, and for the missus. We love our bone dry fizzes. And this wine has a complete freedom of expression. It's not been mucked around with by having sugar added to it. It still has a wonderful biscuity, slightly evolved nose. Thank you. Yeah, lovely, absolutely fantastic. How much does that cost? Well, I don't think you can buy it here yet, although they're desperately looking for people to do so. But laughably, if you bought that in Bruder or you bought that in Ljubljana in a shop, it would be under a tenner. It'd be like £9.50, which is absolutely phenomenal for the quality. Moving on something a bit more fancy. I think this has actually been over here and won a few awards. This is Bruder Méthode Classique. There we go. This is made right down on the far western tip of Slovenia, so you're backing up against Italy, which is really the secret to where the ingredients come from, because this is a Pinot Noir Robola or Ribolla blend. Ribolla Gialla is a great variety from the Friuli, sort of like Italy, top northeast before you drop into Trieste. They're growing Ribolla Gialla, which is a wonderfully mineralic, aromatic grape variety. Not aromatic, sorry, no. More, it's very, very minerally and very stony, and has a wonderful pale, light pear fruitiness to it. But in the mouth, it has a firmness, which I think would really, really translate well into bubbles. And this is proof it does. So this wine, I think, if I'm right, actually has a bit of residual sugar in it. It's designed to be a bit more full-bodied. If we look at the colour, you'll see that it's got a genuinely lovely pink to it. That's one presumes the Pinot Noir. It's fantastic. It smells like Wimbledon strawberries and cream, but not as obvious as that. More like desiccated strawberries. Imagine a dried strawberry crisp. It's just subtly. So you've got that lovely taste of biscuity freshness of a sparkling wine. And then the aftertaste, the sort of like the notion you're left with. It's almost like a whiff of perfume of strawberry. That's exactly how I describe it. That's absolutely lovely. The nose, profound, really rich, deep red fruit strawberry characters. And in the mouth, definite residual sugar there. After the Brut Zero, how could it not taste sweeter? That's delish. I mean, I don't know how long these guys have been making wine, but again, it's such a complete sparkling wine. It's when I think about how good things like Blanquette de Limoux in the south of France are, and how underrated they are compared to the price of champagne. Well, this is right there. I do understand these guys charge a premium for their wines. I think this wine's more like 20 quid in the local market. So surprisingly, this wine is not available in the UK, because it would sit on the shelf at just under 30 odd pounds. That'd be a very hard sell. It would take a really talented Slovenian sommelier to stick this on a Michelin-starred restaurant and push it on everyone for people to really understand the value of what they have here. But not complaining, even at that price. Very, very nice. Okay, coming on to the last wine. Now, this wine is made by my lovely friend Tatiana, or not made by her, but made by her underlings. This is 7 Numbers, which is the top level of wines by my friends Puklovets and Friends. Tatiana Puklovets has some wines that she's been selling very successfully, particularly into Waitrose over the last 10 years. If you go in there, if you're going to be cynical about it, she made a white wine, which was Sauvignon Blanc, very popular. Pinot Grigio, very popular. Decided to make a Sauvignon Blanc Pinot Grigio. Literally, that picks up everybody who needs a glass of wine when they get home from work on a Thursday in front of Pointless. That is a wine that they're all going to go, oh, that's the wine for me. And Mondesvini gave it a gold, I think, or Decanter gave it Platinum Award this year. So, despite the cynicism behind how it's made, the wine was absolutely superb this year. The grape variety which Tatiana is much more excited about promoting is a great variety that locally in Slovenia is called Sipon. And Shipon is actually the great variety of Hungary ferment. And I think the future of ferment in Podravia, certainly, is enormous. And having tasted wines recently with my dear friend Victoria Moore from The Telegraph, we tasted through a vertical of wines recently, which didn't see any oak. They'd just been aged on lees in a tank before bottling. And we saw 4 vintages going back to 2015. And these wines are really, it's hard to say anything other than sublime. Amazing, different, exciting wines. Now, I'm just telling you about those wines, partly because this wine's got a decanter silver medal as well. This winery has been making wine since 1934, but Vladimir Puklovets, Tatiana's father, bought this as a petroleum trader off the collectivization of Russia, when the Balkan states separated from the USSR, and as basically a winery which, even though it was made all that time ago, and the main winery was built, I think, in the 40s. It's gravity fed. It's state of the art. It's absolutely amazing place to go and make wine, I think. But the reason why I've been banging on about how good ferment is and how good ferment is in that particular part of the world, well, it's because this wine's made from ferment and Chardonnay and ferment, I think, or Pinot Blanc, Chardonnay, Pinot Blanc and ferment. Hang on, I should have done my homework, shouldn't I? Yes, something like that. I think it's Chardonnay, Pinot Blanc and ferment. The point is there's quite a big chunk of ferment in here. This wine was made back in 2013. So we'll have a base of 2013 and some older wine in it. This wine, if you wanted to buy it, traders, industry folk, you want to find something really interesting that's really superb. I drank this recently with my dear friend Richard Avery, son of John Avery of Avery's of Bristol. And we were just absolutely gobsmacked how nice it was, particularly with the smoked salmon he served on his 50th birthday. And we went on to drink some indescribably beautiful 1971 Bordeaux, etc. and other things. But this is a sparkling wine which I think on the local market retails for like £8. I think it's about £8. I'm not joking. So this wine is now 8 years old. It's about £8 on the local market. You can have this on the shelf, fully sitting next to all the other sparkling wines on the shelf, about $17.99, which is the price of, I suppose, premium Cava now. You've got to try this. This stuff's amazing. Look at the colour. It's still limpid and pale, but it has this wonderful patina, this wonderful aging, what we call rim versus core graduation. The colour and the centre and the edge don't match, so they've got this wonderful polished old quality to them. Oh, I can't believe how good this is for like £8. It's ridiculous. Okay. Smell of quince. Yeah, what does that smell like? Well, you're going to have to buy a bottle to find out, aren't you? I'm not sure if this is available through Bibendum in the UK. I'm not sure yet. But anyway, somebody needs to find a market for this. And it's delicious. It's complex. And it has this wonderful appley tartness on the finish, which is works really, really well with the style of the wine. So this wine is not commercial in any way. It's not trying to be more popular than it is. It is what it is, which is premium, dry, fine mousse sparkling wine for the price of crappy branded Chardonnay from Australia. There you go. So, just to recap, Zlata Ragonska from Podravia as well, making wine since 1852. We've got a wine from the other side of the country, Bruder, Brut Rosé, and then we have Tatiana's Puklovets, 7 numbers. Absolutely delicious wine. They've been making wine there, or certainly that family's been making wine there for about 30 years now, and they're doing an incredible job. So what can I say? Well, what I want to say is, if you get a chance to try Slovenian Fizz, do it. Because these wines are making a mockery of what's available to us at the same price. Get me? See you next time.